All right. I'm Ashok Tanneeru. I'm the founder of Croppinn. So Tanneeru Croppinn Private Limited. So we are an agri-tech company. So we are actually working on this smart farming and carbon farming. So uh, smart farming is already we heard it. We are hearing about smart farming or digital farming or precision farming last couple of years or few years um, already. But it's not that easy to get implemented in India. It's getting difficult as of now. And carbon farming, coming to carbon farming, it is a new market, completely new market. So it's just started a few years back in Western world, Europe, US, China, and now Indian government is focusing more on carbon farming. So So I want to discuss in detail about what is smart farming, what is carbon farming, and how it changed from past to present, and what is expected in the future out of these farming methodologies, and how it is changing the landscape of agriculture in terms of agriculture, especially. So smart farming and carbon farming. So if we compare, so we can also, smart farming is also called as precision farming or digital farming. And carbon farming, it is also aka uh, carbon sequestration. So sequestration means capture and store. So it means that to capture the carbon from the atmosphere and store it. So there are different methods, different ways of doing that. So our area, the area what we are discussing is about carbon sequestration in carbon farming, so in agriculture sector. So smart farming is completely technology and data driven. Like satellite imagery or drones or robots. So, and the data which it captures, the NDVI, VDI indexes. So these data will be processed and communicated to the farmer for improvisation and getting more efficiency in the practice, farming practice. And carbon farming is methodology driven or process driven. So how we are doing it. So it's a sequence of steps and methods to follow. So nothing too technical or nothing too new in carbon farming. It's the same ancient methods or in a procedural way to ensure the carbon is sequestrated in the soil. And smart farming, the activities involved are like observe, means monitor, measure, and respond. So observe, the satellite observes the imagery and measures, process the imagery, and it will be communicated to the farmer, and farmer responds as per the instructions to water or fertilize the farms. And coming to carbon farming, it's like capture, store, decompose. So the capturing the carbon through the plants or trees, the forestry or large landscapes, and store the carbon which is captured. Store as in like it will be stored. Of course, the plants, trees, they store the carbons in the soil, in the trunks, in the leaves, in the stems, and then once the plants dies or decomposes, again the carbons will be trapped in the soil. And where it is applied, so mostly it's crops, livestock, forests, forestry, so smart farming. So carbon farming, also crops, agroforestry, so like afforestation, reforestation, all these things, and landscapes, large landscapes. So the cycle, the smart farming cycle. So how it will be completed, the complete cycle. So there are mainly three parts: initiate, monitor, and control. So these are the three phases of one cycle, smart farming cycle. I'm not including this marketing, the produce or procurement, all these things. I'm just focusing on the on the production. So initially it will be located. The farm has to be located, and the farm has to be set up with the coordinates, and the system will read the coordinates and assign the satellite imagery or drones into a particular location, and it will capture the images through either sensors, IoT devices located in the location, or satellite imagery or drones capturing the images. And these images will be stored, so captured and validated. So validated as in the correctness and what kind of images. So there are VDI, NDVI indexes, which will calculate the color pixelation in the images. Based on that, the plant health and soil moisture level will be determined. So this monitor. So in that, there are some formulae which will calculate the plant health based on the leaf color. Basically, there are four colors: the green, um, the brown, little light brown, and then dark brown and red. So based on the colors, the plants are healthy or are going to about to die. Yellow, basic yellow. So when the plant is about to die, it gets you know uh, pale yellow color and then brown color. And some other colors are also there based on the crop type. So that colors will be also calculated. Based on that, the plant health will be um, the information will be extracted, and the reports will be generated. And then control. So what we are going to do with the data. So as an end user, the farmer, as it is technically challenging or technically to implement the smart farming, it's not going to be easy for all farmers. Um, so we are actually planning a solution for assisting on this area. So respond as if like if they have to water the plants, and implementation of the based on the extract reports. If harvest by harvest, if they have to change the configuration from the amounts of fertilizers, pesticides, or change the seed quality or mixed crops, so these things um, will be generated through AI. AI driven algorithms will be also there, so that predictive analytics, that's called predictive analytics, for the next harvest, the future harvest, to get better results, and then verify and then enhance. So based on the reports, the farmer will be actually reduce the fertilizers or pesticides, and utilize these pesticides and fertilizers to the effective area, not to the entire farm. So this smart farming enables the farmer to apply these ingredients to the effective area, so which will save the money and also not over pollute the farm, or overdose the farm, the plants. So if you see the carbon farming cycle, more or less it will be the same. So how carbon farming will be completed in a cycle? So it will be more or less same. There are a couple of the terminology is same, but the activities process will be a little bit different. It's the same thing. The farm will be located. So it could be a farm or an agroforestry, or a land mass, or a place where um, the owner or the person responsible to that particular piece of land, if he is claiming for carbon credits, or if he is willing to enable the carbon farming, so we need to have the location and then set up set up the location details, type of crop or type of agroforestry, what are the types of plants, trees in that location, and then capture all the data and then validate. So validation will give us the results of what is the level of carbon. So as per the industry standards, it's um, 1 metric ton carbon is equivalent to one carbon credit. So its carbon credit is varies. The price varies from country to country. Europe, it is I think 5 to 10 euros, and US the standard is now around $10 to $15. And India is also going to set up an infrastructure and define a price tag for every carbon credit that is going to be submitted. So there will be government body and steering committee and a lot of other parties involved, an agency that will approve the claims. So once it is approved, that carbon credits will be um, allotted to that person, the responsible person, and then that will be exchanged in a trading platform like NSE, BSE. That will be a new trading platform that will be coming up in 2025. So still it is in progress. And the same estimate the carbon that can be sequestrated in that piece of land, and then process of what is the process that has to be followed, like cover crops and no tillage, also no chemicals, pesticides, all these things. So following certain methodologies, then only carbon sequestration can be complete, and extract the information and give the proper report, and then the agency will come and approve the report, and that's how the trading will happen. And then the continuity, you need to actually respond to the reports and see um, any enhancements and implement the sequestration process, the methodologies. It's not going to be easy, or it cannot be done in 1 or 2 harvests. It will take few harvests to have a proper results. Right now, it's not theoretically, it's carbon farming is pretty simple, easy. Okay, you are capturing and storing the carbon inside the automatically that will be stored in the soil. But practically, it will take some time to get that process matured and implemented. A lot of new people, new committees, new agencies will be joining. So it's a huge market. It's a big market that's going to be open up. Um, Probably India is very aggressive in this because of this Paris Agreement, and also the commitments, uh, cap and trade agreements. So everything is getting in line. And then the maintenance. So maintenance has to be done. So maintenance, how it will be done is like currently in US, Europe market, they are fulfilling this by having a contract with the farm or the location or the person who is claiming for carbon credits for about 5 to 10 years agreement. An agreement that says you will be following certain methodologies, certain process to successfully have the carbon sequestration, do the carbon farming. So likewise, we will be also starting with the contracts. So without having contracts, we cannot assure that the carbon sequestration has been done and it is reliable. So the contracts are needed to ensure the carbon sequestration is in place and reliable for reliability purposes. So how the transition of smart farming is happening. So I just compared with the past, present, and future so that we'll understand from where it is coming and what we have right now and where it is going. So in the past, smart farming, so there's no word called smart farming those days, but kind of, farming, better farming. So it was done by ancestral knowledge. Currently, it's been done by research information articles from the agencies or institutes. So based on the agriculture research department, so following certain guidelines of pesticides or soil fertility or irrigation methodologies. So that's what going on right now. But what's going to happen in the future? So it will be a reinforced learning and machine learning. So what is this? Reinforced learning. So this is a module, an LLM in AI. So currently we have drones, robots, which are controlled by a joysticks or a control device, where they are going to capture or sprinkle fertilizers, pesticides, um, through a control devices. So in the coming days, these things will be converted to an autonomous control at the server side. So as the farm place is captured, so it is possible to make it autonomous. It is in progress right now, so that is inevitable. All the controls will be autonomous, like driverless cars, like autonomous cars, so something like that. So automatic, time driven, data driven, so time lapse. So it will be automatically this thing, and it will be the AI will learn from the experiences, so from the output, all these things. So it will be automatically learn its algorithms, logic, and improvise by itself. So and then it will communicate with the machines. So this process will get better and better in the coming days. And so whenever something happens, like any disease or something going wrong, not as planned. So in the past, it was like peer advisory, the farm associations or groups, they used to discuss and get the information. So right now, what we have is centralized crop advisory systems. So so any answer given will be recorded, and it will be communicated the similar answers, similar questions. So these things at the moment. And then in the future, in the coming days, it will be completely taken over by AI. So to avoid human mistakes, and any recurring questions will be answered promptly. And with the reinforced learning, the answers will get better and better. And also the answers will be in multitude, meaning in the local languages, because farming agriculture is completely regional businesses, regional activities. So it's not that it should be in multitude for the better understanding and implementation. And then earlier it was the manual operations, farming operations with bullocks and all these things. No machinery were there. Right now we have a lot of tractors, machines. Very recently, drones, robots are in the transition. And in the future, as I said, all these will be autonomous operations. So with a click of button, with just a tap in the mobile, everything will be done in the coming days. It will capture the route paths, and it will store the route paths, and it will be autonomous. And the infected area will be sprinkled by the pesticide, or to get regain the strength of the plant or fertilizers, as per the captured images and the results. And then it was labor intensive in the past. Now it is both labor and machines. But as in we are in transition, the labor are getting scarce. So though the finding the labor is getting very difficult in farming agriculture. So in the coming days, it will be fully automated. So only people will be operating digitally. Probably there will be also manual planting, seeding assistance, but mostly 70-80% will be automatic. And earlier it was very low carbon footprint, and now we have little more carbon footprint, and in the future it will be high carbon footprint in the sense a lot of technology, energy, machines. So the energy required by the machines will be nothing but carbon footprint. So to get that energy to manufacture those devices and technologies, all these things will release some carbon. So that's what it meant, carbon footprint. And then we don't have no pesticides, fertilizers in the past, not much. Now we have excess of pesticides, fertilizers because of the farming practices. What we are following monoculture and large farms and industrial farms. So all these things, and also a lot of pests and soil degradation. So that's the reason the farmers are forced to use these fertilizers and pesticides. So if you see the ground reality, we can't say the farmer not to use the pesticides and fertilizers, because there will be no production without fertilizers, and without pesticides, there'll be high risk of all the 70-80% of plants getting died in the process, which is not a viable farmers as of now, as of today. So in the coming days, how we gonna how it will be mitigated is like applying this, for the infected area only, not to the entire farm, and also improving the soil quality, and adding more natural fertilizers and certain practices. We can reduce the pesticides. It's already in progress, reducing the pesticides first, because they are chemicals. Some of the chemicals are very dangerous to us, human health, and also the soil health. And fertilizers also boosters. There are some boosters also will be reduced in the coming days. So now we'll see how the carbon farming adoption will be possible in the coming days, and how it will be possible. So earlier, the carbon farming, I'm just just curated the carbon farming into the relevant practices or methods. So earlier, we have the permaculture, though that was not, a commercial aspect. It was like mostly communal farming. So mix of different trees and crops, small crops and mixed crops, cover crops, and little ponds, and also water bodies in the farm. So this ensured a natural mulching, with some, dried leaves, and other plants which were not removed from the ground, so that acted as natural mulching. But right now, as we are into monoculture, monoculture is farming only corns in, say, 10 hectares at a time, or rice in all my land. If I'm a farmer, I'll do a monoculture and market my produce, so that I'll get a good price. So it's all commercial aspect right now. So again, once it is harvested, again I'll do the same commodity farming. So that's monoculture, and in the future it will be regenerative farming. So it's more or less permaculture again. So we are again back to the past. So this will change in the coming days. But commercial perspective, it is still open. So still that solution has to be brought up. So if it is regenerative farming, how the farmers can make it commercial, and get more profits, replacing the monocultures in the coming days. That has to be solved yet. And then we have commodity farming. So earlier it was the farmers used to have these groups, and then they used to share the, commodities agreements or something. So individual farmers used to have individual interests of commodities, and they used to farm in that way and exchange. But right now it's not like that. It's all commercial, and there are billions of people to be feed, uh, people to be fed. So lot of commercial farming is being in the place right now. So because of this commercial farming monocultures, the farmers are forced to do the monoculture, which is again depleting the soil quality, nutrients. Because it is monoculture, it's always some, for example, some plants always takes nitrogen. So it will suck up all the nitrogen from the soil, and the soil will not be useful for any other crop in the coming years, for say a few harvests at least. So that has to be stopped. Um, the plant farming farmer has to change based on the demand and also the AI recommendations based on the soil quality and accessibility and rain, a lot of other factors. So that is coming in the future, the centralized farming. So the system will recommend with the predictive analytics which crop type is more beneficial commercially and also good for the soil health and accessibility, all other factors. And earlier it was fertile soil, obviously. It was very rich microbial soil uh, in the past. And right now we have a lot of infertile soil, no microbes because of the excessive pesticides. And then in the coming future, we what we can do. I mean, like we have to save soil, so do a lot of practices and best methodologies to save soil. So that is expected, but we don't know actually how it goes. The safe soil movement and how farmers will regenerate the soil quality in all countries or in India, how it's going to happen. And then coming to the water management or irrigation, so it was very optimum with the small wells nearby the farmland, depending on that water bodies and also wet soil. But right now we don't have more water bodies because of the commercialization and machine driven farms. And in the coming days, this irrigation will be completely restructured, and a lot of activities from the government and agencies and from the farmers are in line right now, drip irrigation and all other activities to save water and utilize the water in a better way. And there were no carbon incentives earlier. Right now, carbon incentives are initiated in the entire world, and India is very aggressively planning this carbon credits infrastructure framework and carbon trading platforms. So all these things are there in planning phase right now. US, Europe, they already implemented this carbon credits, all these things, carbon initiatives, like paying the carbon credits to the people who claim that they have sequestered carbon. So at least 1 ton per year, 1 ton carbon dioxide per year. And then in the future, incentives driven. So a lot of incentives and this is also a way to earn. So farmers will have a plan, and also the corporates and the companies will also have a certain plan or strategy to acquire these incentives, carbon credits, in their farming practices. So um, I would see a lot of incentive driven farming coming up in the coming days. Everybody will welcome this because this is everyone's interest. Everyone wants to reduce the carbon from their perspective, their industry or farming or any activity they are involved with. So this is going to be a very important point. So in the coming days, incentives will be very important and key. And then earlier days, it was natural sequestration. So the carbon dioxide um, absorbed by the plants after photosynthesis, they release the oxygen, and the roots, the stem, everything will be fully full with carbon. So and then the of course carbon molecules will be slowly um, released into the top up top layer of the soil, and where the microbes will convert this chemical composition into nutrients, which are again required for the health of the plants and other microbial life in the top layer of the soil. So right now it is difficult, very difficult for sequestration because of the tilling we have, because of the soil erosion, water management to dries. It should be wet. The soil layer should be wet always with a lot of mulching. Mulching avoids the evaporation of top layer water, um, um, and also other practices of cover crops and other things. So right now it's not that feasible. In the coming days, that's the reason a lot of countries have decided to go for this agreement, um, cap and trade agreement, which was discussed in 1997, I guess, and then it was activated in 2005. So that is active, and also Paris Agreement to reduce the carbon emissions. To reach the carbon neutrality in the coming days. So in the future, the carbon sequestration or carbon farming will be controlled through digital data and produce the reports to the respective countries, departments, and probably the global agencies as well. So, so here we go with what we have achieved so far, and where we are, and what's going on, what negotiations are still going on, and what is in progress right now. Um, so if we see achievements, so carbon credits scheme has been implemented already. So, and the trading scheme also implemented last year. Um, and we have global cap and trade agreement, which is started worldwide, Feb 2005. And now the administrator for this complete activity will be Bureau of Energy Efficiency in India. So I'm talking about only Indian market here, not a global market. So Central Energy Regulation Commission so will be responsible to build this infrastructure for trading, like NSE, trading of carbon credits. So some companies will say, I have sequestered carbon, so I should get one carbon credit. So they will get the carbon credit, and that carbon credit will be in the trading platform. And somebody who is not doing well in sequestering carbon by maybe old practices or not implementing better practices to do the carbon sequestration, they have to buy this carbon credits. That's kind of indirectly it's a fine or penalty or something. And people who are doing good, it will be an incentive. So that is how the balance will be. So that is the reason a lot of countries loved it. This concept of cap and trade agreement. Almost all countries approved this agreement, and all the countries are implementing it and building their own trading platform. So we do have national trading platform, also international trading platforms. More or less, they are very early stage right now, not like the typical trading platforms what we have, but it's very early stage. So it will take few years to get maturity and good exchanges happen in the trading system. And then we have Grid Controller of India Limited that will be controlling the data. So which company, which farmer registered for carbon sequestration credits. So that information, all the data related to this entire sector, entire activities, all the activities of carbon farming will be registered by the grid controller. And then national committees are established already, carbon credits. And now it's interesting that we are coming up with a new thing, green credit. So dividing separating the carbon credits and green credits in Indian government. So we already know what is carbon credit. So green credits are completely voluntary. So they have divided it three markets there: compliance, voluntary, and allowance markets. So compliance are like for industries, steel or energy market industries. So they have to be compliant to the carbon emissions. So they will set a benchmark of the emissions. If they are below that benchmark, they will earn the credits. If they are above the benchmark of the, say, for example, to manufacture 1 ton of steel, it should be one ton of carbon emission is allowed as a benchmark. So if it's exceeding, they have to buy the carbon credits from the trading system. Or if it is not exceeding, it's well under control, so they will earn the credits. So this is how a new system of a trading system evolves, so that it will incentivize the good people, and it will penalize the people who are late to implement or neglect the carbon emissions. There's a new system that has to be adopted yet. And we have compliance, voluntary, allowance market is like, it exchanges the a market which will give the other parties like brokers or somebody will hold the tokens, the credits for some time and sell it in a good price, or people who wants credits urgently or something like that. So intermediaries. And so International Forest Research and Education Board, Indian Forestry Research and Education Board controls the green credits. So green credits are for sustainable agriculture, water management, pollution control. So other voluntary activities, not industrial, like a carbon credit. So these are all mostly agroforestry. All these are voluntary activities. um, so those green credits will be controlled exclusively by ICA FRE. And then green credit program is voluntary, as I said. So these are all active right now, implemented. And then what's coming up or in progress are, so the government is still thinking the base price to be set for the carbon credit. As I said, it is now 10 or 8, 10, $15 as of now. So government has to set. So probably 100 to 200 rupees for carbon credit, probably, I don't know. And then coming up in December, India has to participate in the COP28 UAE regarding the carbon credit scheme, implementation updates, all these things. Global conference. And then framework is in progress. So how this trading platform and the framework, who will approve, who will apply, all these things. And authoritative agencies still has to be recognized. Some maybe private parties who will become the authoritative agencies, approved agencies of the claims from the end users. And then steering committee is in formation, technical committee is also in the formation. Trading platform registry is in progress. So government mainly focusing on demand and supply. So there should be a balance of people who are doing well and people who has to pay the penalty. So when both are balanced, then only this market will grow. So if one of the parties are not interested or not participating actively, it will take some time and it will be burden for the government. So both the parties, people should be proactively pay the fine for excessive carbon emission, as well as people storing, sequestering carbon should claim the carbon credits actively, proactively. So both parties, demand and supply, should be balanced. And so there was a case study earlier, there's energy coins, so which were conducted by Bureau of Energy Efficiency Board. Are an examples like earlier, there was an similar example like save the energy by following some practices, and if they are saving certain energy, certain amount of energy, they used to give these ESETs to that company as certificates, and they used to claim those points or certificates, credits for other purposes. So this will be a case study for better implementation of carbon credits infrastructure. And also government is thinking whether to allow this secondary market, so elements markets or brokers in this entire setup. So brokers will get benefit of the carbon credits, buying and selling all these things like usual brokers, what we see in the NSE. So this is the complete traction or status of carbon farming or carbon credits as of now in India. So that's all from my side. You can have questions.
Thank you, Mr. Ashok, for a very detailed presentation. Now I'll take up some questions. In the meantime, you can stop sharing the screen and on your video. You're okay with it?
Stop the screen share.
Yes. Yeah, you can on your video if you're comfortable with it. Okay.
Start the video.
Yes. Okay. Yes, I can see you. Thank you. So before I take up the questions, I would like to check with Mr. Joseph Brito if he would like to ask any questions. Mr. Brito, you can unmute yourself first. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Ashok. Thank you, Rajni ma'am. Thank you, Mr. Ashok, for a very clear presentation. See, I would like to know how this PES and this carbon credit, what is the difference? That is protection for saving the environment. For that, the government is also paying. And for carbon credits also, they are contemplating. Is there any difference, or is it going to be combined? Any idea?
The difference between carbon credits and I didn't get that word.
PES. That is the scheme where for protecting the environment, you are paid by the government. Yeah.
So there are different ministries, environment ministry and energy ministry. So yes, they are relevant, but operating differently. Again, environment, yeah, we can't say right now because this is completely driven by Ministry of Energy, a little bit of Ministry of Environment. Because environment, we have several other factors like vehicles, industries, and all these things. So you are asking about the difference between this PES and carbon credits.
Yes, exactly. Because PES is doing almost the same thing. For example, you're growing crops like paddy or even coffee, which sequester a lot of carbon into the system, into the soils. So the growers are paid for that. No,
Yeah,
it's
so this will be the PES. They can claim the carbon credits. The only thing is they have to have register that they are doing the carbon sequestration and submit for they have to claim for the carbon, how much carbon they are sequestered in duration, what duration, and in say right now there is like I think 10 acres will sequester 1 ton of carbon per year or something, or 10 tons. So based on that, they can claim. So PES, carbon credits, there's no difference. So both can claim. Even the government will also allow, even if you're not a farmer. For example, if you are just a socialist and you have selected some open land, it's not your land. So even that also, even there, if you are taking the responsibility of controlling that area, and you submit the documentation of sequestering of that particular area, and then you ensure the remaining formalities or methodologies, that will be also that case can be also taken as carbon credits. uh, voluntarily.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And also right now, still, we don't have even US market, Europe market, they are also in very early stages. Even US farmers are also a little bit susceptible about this, reluctant about this carbon credits system, entire system, whether this works or not, how much they will be benefited for the good cause. Very early to comment on that. Maybe in the coming days, it will get a structure, proper structure. So we are trying to pioneer in this carbon, especially green credits, carbon farming methodologies, as is completely new. So we are focusing mainly on this carbon farming methodologies and incentivizing the farmers who are following these practices after having an agreement. Probably everything will be blended, merged at some point of time, environment and carbon. So only difference is you are asking about carbon credits, which is, yeah, environment, everything can be clubbed together there. But when we are talking about plants and trees in India, it is implemented separately as a voluntary activity, voluntary market, which means green credits, not carbon credits. So as we still don't know, actually both value, carbon credits and green credits, the value will be same or different. We don't know yet because it's a very new concept.
Yes.
So in the coming days, probably this plant related or farming related will be separated. The sustainable agriculture will be separated from the industrial, which is a mandatory, which is a compliance to the government. So both will be driven separately. Uh, that's what going on right
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. And what
Okay.
about the regenerative? How how it is necessary, and how is it going to help carbon credits?
now. So even US is also in a little bit confusion here because
Yes.
so far they were comfortably doing some 20 acres, 50 acres completely with machines and monoculture. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, so they're farming and getting the price. So it was looking, the farming is more like a business. But once this entire thing, carbon sequestration, comes into the picture, you have to do the cover crops, you have to do a natural mulching, you should not till, um,
Yes.
should do a lot of practices which is combinedly called regenerative farming. So which will ensure carbon sequestration. Yes, practically it will take some time, 3 or 4 harvests at least, and commercially, still I would say not 100% sure commercially, because you have to change the crop. If it is maize now, the next harvest it should be something else, and then the next harvest should be something else. It shouldn't be monoculture. If it is monoculture, the nutrients will be, the soil will get lack of shortage of certain nutrients. So all these practices together called regenerative farming, which was like a permaculture in our olden days in Indian agriculture system, or more or less other countries as well. But now we are going again back to the old system. But again, the problem there is commercial farming. Business perspective, it is still a little question mark.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Since we are running short of time, I'll quickly take up some questions. And before that, I would like to check with Komarita. Any questions, or you can post in the chat box if you're not able to speak.
I do not have any questions at the moment. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I think most of them you must have answered. Still, I'll read out them. What are the key technologies involved in smart farming?
So key technologies, as in like crop monitoring, satellite imagery, or any other devices like drones or IoT devices which are installed in the premises, capturing the images, processing the images, and then giving the reports. And based on the reports, the AI machine learning will give the predictive analytics for the future harvests.
Okay. And how does integrating carbon sequestration benefit smart farming practices?
So I would say the other way. So first, smart farming has to be implemented, and all the farms that should be digitalized, located, and all these things should be done. Then we should go to carbon farming, because um, carbon farming needs the data of the farming of previous harvests and current harvest and next harvest and mid crop, these things coverage. So I would say both will be integrated, and better way is smart farming first.
Okay. So next question is also almost the similar. How can smart farming technologies facilitate carbon sequestration?
Smart farming technologies,
Facilitate.
yes, yeah, it will report the reports. The reports generated by the smart farming will be the um, will be required for the submission for the claim or to enter into the game. So without that, manually, if some agency will come and will submit the reports, might not work in the coming days, because it is a cycle and it should be recorded for the previous and current and future harvest as well. So reporting, mainly reporting, will help the carbon farming.
Okay. Okay. And what role do sensors and data analytics play in optimizing carbon sequestration in agriculture?
Sensors, yes, as I said, these are input devices. Anything could be okay. So drones or sensors or satellite images, it will capture the data, and by that data, um it will be processed, and it will be known actually by the plant type, soil type, and the plant health and the regenerative farming. There will be an estimation of how much carbon is being sequestered per hectare farm per year. So if the tilling is happening, or lot of pesticides or non-recommended practices happens, so then again it's difficult to estimate the carbon that is sequestered. So the things has to be followed. To follow all the methodologies, the contract has to be enabled between the farmer or the end user and the company. And then there will be another third party company who will come and investigate or approve the claim.
Okay. And can we explain how precision agriculture techniques help in enhancing carbon removal efficiency?
Decisions of
I'll repeat the question. Can you explain how precision agriculture techniques help in enhancing carbon removal efficiency?
um, same thing actually. The precision farming will enable to produce the reports that are required to prove that the carbon is sequestered. So I cannot say simply that I am doing farmer for 10 acres and I am sequestering so and so carbon. So how I claim that? Um, how I prove it? So digital farming will analyze, report it based on the harvest.
Okay. And
It will help. It will analyze. It will support. So it is required. Both should go together. So without smart farming features, say let's assume traditional farming. If we are doing traditional farming completely, no digital things. If we are implementing the carbon sequestration, it will be difficult. So that is coming. So how the government is ready to take the claims, we still don't know. So if they are taking the digital reporting, or if they're taking some forms to be filled, and then they send the other agency to check and confirm. So how they are going to confirm it, if they are doing manually, without this digital reports, we don't know yet. So my presumption is like it should be integrated, so that process will get streamlined and hassle-free.
Okay. And how does smart farming with carbon sequestration contribute to mitigating climate change?
Definitely a lot. And if the implementation is, as I said, it's very challenging, interesting, but challenging, very new, but required, mandatory. So otherwise, it's going to be a tough agriculture days will be coming to us. So everybody has to implement it. But even though we have several other challenges like irrigation, water management, soil fertility, weather conditions, and all these things, external things, um, the change is coming to us. So definitely very sure that both together will change the dynamics of agriculture in India. It is coming, but the only problem is right now. So we are saying that last year also, 2021 also, it is coming, it is coming. So where it is, it is taking time because 83% of Indian farmers are small farmers. They are not tech savvy. So adaptation challenges and also high costs, initiation costs, also their initial costs, and the process itself is not complete for carbon farming. It's still in very early stage, and smart farming also not that well versed so far in India. So the transition is in progress, and with a lot of hurdles, and it will happen, but more aggressive aggression support from the government is required in terms of investments, in terms of policies, all these things. So farm bills have been signed recently again. So I think those things are required so that this will take its pace and race its way.
Okay. And what are the environmental benefits of combining smart farming with carbon removal strategies?
Environmental benefits, of course, yes. The greenhouse gases, especially carbon dioxide. If this is implemented, definitely we will control the carbon emissions. So it is a global act and it is a global strategy along with the Paris Agreement. So industrial wise, that is going fine, and carbon farming in agriculture. So it is also contributes majorly because it's 25% carbon, 25% almost. So carbon is being emitted from the soil. So it is not nothing can be taken easy. So this is be crucial, the carbon farming. So the government is aggressively working in carbon credits as well as green credits. So both should go in parallel and very aggressive. Definitely there will be an impact in the environment. So hopefully reduce the El Nino effects and all these burning effects. And Europe is feeling the heat now, right now. They are facing 48 degrees and they are struggling also. US and India also. We had a bad summer. So yeah, so the effect it has to be controlled now or never.
Okay. And how does carbon sequestration in smart farming improve soil health and fertility?
Can you be louder, please? I didn't heard.
Okay, 1 second. How does carbon sequestration in smart farming improve soil health and fertility?
Definitely. See, if we reduce the pesticides and improvise the carbon farming, the fungi and microbes will relish in the soil, and this complete organics in the soil will improvise and supply the necessary nutrients. And in exchange, the plants will take some nutrients and exchange some other nutrients. So this cycle will get improvised all in all, and the earthworms will come again back to the soil. So, so in totally, definitely the soil fertility will improve a lot, and soil erosion will be avoided.
Okay. And could you provide examples of successful implementations of smart farming with carbon sequestration?
Implementation of smart farming, we have so US, European countries, India, we have some few companies already doing the smart farming, enabled the smart farming, which is Bangalore companies, and some other companies already implemented, but it's a bit slow. It's not as fast as the Western markets, because Western markets already they're well versed with the technology adoption. So we are having this challenge, facing the challenges so far. Uh, the ride is not that smooth. It is implementation phase is active right now. The transition is getting faster for large scale farmers who are having 20, 30, 40 acres of land. For them it is getting easier, but but small farmers it's not getting easier implementation. But the small farmers are majority in India. It's been challenge for implementation as of now. So coming days, definitely these two blend together like Karan Arjun or something, and I think it should work strongly, both together, smart farming and carbon farming together. So let's hope for that.
And how can farmers integrate carbon sequestration practices into their existing smart farming systems?
Okay, good point. How they integrate. So, as I said, see, personally, I believe that both should come together, and smart should be first, and then carbon should be the second. And if you are saying the other combinations, how without carbon, without smart farming, how to implement carbon only carbon farming, or without carbon farming only smart.
Okay.
These are the combinations.
No.
Yeah. You're asking something, Joseph?
No, nothing. Only your contact details later.
Okay. So we don't know the combinations. As of now, we have this traditional farming, just a little bit of transition towards the smart farming or digital farming, and then this completely new concept, carbon farming, coming up to hit the Indian market, and this is going to be $50 billion market in the coming few years, just few years. Right now, it's $5 billion market, so it's a heavy market, huge market opening up. So the combinations have to be worked out. So far, with my knowledge, I would say it should go as a combination: smart farming first, and then followed by the carbon farming to have a complete ecosystem.
Okay. And yeah, what are the economic implications and potential incentives for adopting smart farming with carbon removal?
There are no particular incentives from any government for smart farming implementation. It is just done by the self-initiative, no incentives. So improvise the farming abilities or efficiency or production or other factors to reduce the labor intensity or labor dependency, and improvise the efficiency, production, all these things. Factors comes up. It comes with a high initial investment, of course, to set up things, satellite imagery, processing data, storage, all these things. So we are working on this implementation phase with the different types of farmers. So it will take some time to implement for small farmers. So not that easy. It will be also cost ineffective at the early stages. But coming to the next harvest, so following harvest, the farmer will definitely get the right information, and 25% more revenue generates from the previous harvest, at least 25%, and there will be a difference in the quality of the produce, and the time taken, and the costs, all these things. So all in all, it will be profit oriented, but it takes some time.
So now we have the last question. How does agroforestry contribute to carbon sequestration?
So agroforestry, definitely right now we have the largest the natural forests, rainforests like Amazon. It is contributing, it is absorbing 3 to 4% of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. So some forests like that, it is having a pivotal role in absorption. And some enthusiasts, volunteers who are building a small agroforestries by themselves or maintaining them definitely contributes the carbon sequestration. And we are having a different plan or strategy for them, exclusively to onboard them for agroforestry, because monitoring and measuring will be much better and easier for them to implement the carbon sequestration and get the green credits or carbon credits, or both, for them. And we will see. Definitely, it will have a large impact, agroforestry in carbon sequestration, not to be ignored.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, Mr. Ashok. So, yeah, Mr. Joseph is asking your contact information. You can post in the chat box.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Joseph, you can make a note. He has posted the contact number.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Anything you'd like to ask, Mr. Joseph?
No. That's it.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Very nice
okay, Mr.
presentation. Thank you, Mr. Ashok.
Thanks. Thanks.
Okay, Mr. Ashok. So now we have come to end of question round. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, we like to thank you for a very detailed presentation, answering all the questions in depth. And we also like to thank the participants for asking the questions. The meeting will now be closed. Have a good evening and a good weekend.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're
Opportunity.
most welcome.
I wish
Thank
you
you.
all have a nice weekend, and hopefully we'll meet again sometime. We'll see.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.